grab my partner and do some partner drills. Here we're gonna show some examples of partner drills now. So if anybody here is gonna help me with some of these drills. So again, just going with the basic attacks that I just showed you. Okay, I'm gonna try to learn to. I'm gonna use it as a way to learn to map out different possible targets on the body. Okay. Again, this is not a fighting drill yet. Okay. This is just a way to get familiar with what kind of targets you're gonna hit with the angles that you have. Again, we don't have elaborate templates of strikes like 12 or 17. None of that. We only have 3. Okay. But with those 3, you should be able to hit a variety of different targets, right? So let's say my friend here is just my target, he's in a fighting posture, right? And he's just gonna, he's gonna stand still while I walk around and, map out all the different, areas I'm gonna hit. Again, my angles are 1, 2, and 3, and then a slash, right? So let's say I start here, face to face with him. See, right away, I can see that with my angle 1, I can hit the hand, I can hit the arm. If I'm a little bit over here, I can even hit the groin or his stomach, right? But I'm gonna walk around and find what else I can hit. So you have one here, there's 2, here's 3, and then here's a slash. See, that's a cut on the arm. Now I have a kidney again. Head, neck for the neck, and then a slash. And I just continue. See? Armpit. Neck for the neck, shoulder, kidney again, groin, up here, the arm, up, and then down. I can move around this way. I can also really, I can move any direction I want to. Again, this is just a familiarity. 1, 2, 3. Thrust, slash, thrust, slash. I can also do this with slashing attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See? You notice too, again, he's standing still for me so that I can see these targets, but I'm not simply, throwing a kind of, a bunch of random strikes. I am picking out specific areas that I'm gonna hit. So for instance here, see, that's a hand. It's the hand again. Upper arm. That's on the hand. See, if I want to strike down this way and get his thigh, I have that as well. And then go high again. Up and then down. Down, down. I can thrust suddenly. Go into a thrust. And then back to slashing again. See, slash, 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 thrust, thrust, and slash. Right? So, okay, that's great. That's a static target. What do you do now? How do you now train so that you can use the same angles against a moving target? Well, this is how kind of we make the distinction between a static partner drill versus what we might refer to as a combat drill or a battle drill. Right? Battle drills are, for lack of a better word, it's dynamic because we are going to be moving. Both of us will be moving, right? One person will be attacking, the other one is going to counterattack either by maneuvering, ranging out, or just maneuvering around and away from me. So for the purposes of this video, I'll just be the attacker and my friend is just simply going to range out and avoid getting hit. So again, using the basic thrusting pattern that we already learned, we already showed you. 1, 2, 3, and my partner is simply going to range out and just do 1 and 2, right? Just do 1 and 2, right? So when I advance, see how I just place, Now I tag the center line, and I tag the center line. He's going to adjust by coming forward, so that means I have to adjust as well. Right? So again, if we do this in the beginning, slow, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you notice he's allowing me to get a full range of motion strike with my thrust. Okay, later on, he can mix it up, he can stop suddenly, and I'm gonna have to adjust. But in the very beginning, it's gonna do me a solid by allowing me to actually use my steps, and without hurting each other. No hitting, no contact just yet. Just really just getting used to the mechanics and implementing the footwork already, right? Again, we don't spend a lot of time doing stuff like this, right? Because this might look all pretty, but again, it has no. It doesn't develop any fighting ability because again, we're stuck in the same pattern. We're up close, right? There's no sense of changing of distance. How do I do the techniques when I'm back here versus I'm here already? How did I end up here in the first place? Right? That's why we, early on, we get people moving first. Right? Again, the primary focus in the early stages is developing functional skills. Right? So you can have good, you can develop good, appreciable skills already without, getting too bogged down about, patterns and all these, exchange of drills. Because that'll never happen. If I ask you to put the gloves on and fencing mask and spar, none of that's going to come out. So, after a month or 2 months of training and I had you doing all this kind of tappy stuff and then I asked you to spar, you won't be able to function because you never trained how to use your footwork. Okay? That has use too, but again, it has no real use in developing combat abilities. So, going back to this drill, now we're gonna raise the level a little bit. So my partner is just simply same thing. He's going to range out, but I'm actually going to. I'm gradually going to focus on becoming more explosive every time I attack. So earlier you saw me simply step, right? 1, 2, 3, and then I range out. After I've done that a few times, okay, I'm pretty comfortable with my mechanics. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive now. So now it's going to become 1, 2, 3, and I'm back. Right? Then 1, 2, 3. Right. Okay? So you can see, even though I'm practicing to be offensive, he's also learning to be able to maneuver counter-offensively. Because he doesn't want to get hit by this. I'm cheating. I'm using an aluminum shoulder instead of rubber one. But you can see that even my partner, he understands that if he doesn't get out of the way, right, I'm going to take his hand. So he knows he needs to, he understands he needs to keep his weapon moving as well as he displaces his body. So I'm going to attack, and when he comes back and I don't range out, guess what? He's going to end up hitting me, right? Again, this is a little bit, I guess, again, a little bit more dynamic than what people usually display for knife training, but it's still not knife fighting, okay? Because again, we're just learning how to move right now, okay? So again, we're using the thrust, but I can choose any attack pattern I want. I can do this with slashing as well. Right? Same thing. Slash here. See? Back. 1, 2, 3, here. Right? So again, I just have those 3 angles to worry about. I can do a lot of drills and become really proficient with my knife because I don't have to memorize a lot of different movements. Right? I have 3 thrusts, I have 3 lines of slashes. I don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, right? Too many to count, right? You're not gonna be able to count that high when somebody's actually trying to attack you with a knife. Again, I'm trying not to be too dismissive about the whole, tappy type drills, because, to be honest, sometimes we do this also because I like to keep a balance and everything. But again, we do it under the right context. So let's say, we already spent an hour or more, doing really dynamic, explosive, knife attack drills and whatever. If I want to slow it down, and I might revert to something more friendly like that, right? We'll just do something like that, right? So a lot of people might recognize this as hubad lubad, I think. To us, it's just called sagang hubo. So typically, I might show something like this. If a new student is, having trouble coordinating their hand movements and their foot movement. But in reality, the way we train this is, when I do that overhand, my partner is actually going to drive in and attack that. Because this is how you can effectively use this. Okay, it's not he attacks and I put up some kind of a block and then I simply pass it over. Okay, again, when we're trying to cool down, and we might do this, but right, it's in that concept. It's in the context of developing. It's more of a sensitivity drill, right? Now you might ask, okay, well, how do we train this to be more of a combative drill? Again, you already saw that my partner, as soon as I raised my hand, he drove in there and intercepts that. You see? So if we were doing this as a combat drill, again, but he's gonna attack. As soon as I raise my hand, he's gonna drive in there and attack into that. It's the same thing with me. If I was starting from long range, or longer range, say here, and as soon as I see that knife come out, see, I'm gonna attack it. I'm not gonna stay here and wait and then put up a block, because look at what happened here. I'm so behind in timing that he's almost got a full extension of that knife. Right? This is not a good place to be. In fact, this is not a good place to be for me, but at least this is better than this. Right? This is only possible if I actually attack into it. If I allow my opponent to strike and I simply react, this is the kind of situation I'm going to end up in. But if I'm a little bit more alert, right, I'm gonna drive in there and intercept that. You see how I pushed his shoulder? I was able to push his shoulder back. I mean, if I hit that hard enough, if he hits that hard enough, there's a very good chance I might dislocate my shoulder even, right? And nobody ever attacks like this. Right? Nobody ever attacks like this. So I don't understand why in martial arts that's what they do. They teach, if you're doing some kind of a counter-offense where you do this, they put their hand way up here, and then you're supposed to block that or whatever, right? Reality is, if somebody, even tries to, if somebody attempts to deliver a knife attack overhand like this, it would be here, right? So, so you need to be able to recognize that. So when we train, if you want to be realistic and you want to train how to counter something like this, that's what you're going to do. We'll do that. You're not going to, right? You're not going to, put your partner into a false sense of, security, by doing something like this. Okay? You're not doing him any favors. You have to give him something more realistic. Boom. So that he can recognize to do that, right? Again, I'm just kind of giving you these little examples. Again, if we're talking more about tactics, again, this is a bad situation to be in, right? Because again, you're way behind timing. Your opponent has attacked first, which means you had to put up some kind of counter offense to prevent him from stabbing you in this way, right? So technically you messed up, right? You messed up by not recognizing the threat when you had more space, right? Again, this kind of getting more into situational awareness and right what's a realistic way to deal with knife attack. It's kind of it's a complicated topic. So when you're talking about tactics and scenarios, that's usually separate from functional training or training to develop body mechanics.